3, 2, 1. Hey, welcome to the 310 Kris Pod.
Wow. Wow.
Maybe
Kris
it's just
I can't even put that in there.
No, we got to keep it now.
No way.
We have to keep it now.
too late.
It's bloopers.
No.
Bloopers.
Fail.
We gotta put bloopers.
I can't believe it. So
So
mad.
we have to keep it
How
in.
did that come out of my mouth?
I don't know.
You ready?
Are you ready?
I don't know. That surprised me. Don't
Got
even.
Kris Germain written all over the walls.
No,
back
you
there.
don't. We don't have that anywhere.
The 310 Kris Pod and CrossFit 310.
Okay.
The Kris Pod.
Here we go. That was so dumb. Oh, I'm so mad that you both heard it. I can't hide it. All right, you ready?
All right, here we go.
3, 2, 1. Hey, welcome to the 310 Quick Pod. My name is Kris Germain. I am here with the famous Jen McMahon. And also, boom, is your boy Will Jones! Will Jones in the house. This is so much fun. We love doing quick pods with Will Jones.
I bring the energy.
That's right. So much.
Too much sometimes.
Well, you want to tell people what we're doing today? You want to introduce what's happening in this episode?
Boom. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 310 Quick Pod. We are now talking about Chapter 3, Atomic Habits. How to build better habits in 4 simple steps. Go.
That's what we're doing. This is a great chapter, Chapter 3. This is when we go from 30,000 feet and we start making it real. We start getting into the ground and walking through things in our life. As we were kind of prepping the episode and talking through what we might talk about, I had mentioned that this is kind of what Jen does. Like, this is Jen's sweet spot right here. And so
I love talking about habits.
I know. This is what you do with health coaching, right? I mean,
Yeah.
for people who don't know, this is kind of like a
what,
big
changing your behavior is like zooming in and learning what is your behavior, right? What is it at first, and then what do you want to change, and
is
one step at a time.
Would it be fair to say that this is a big component of health coaching as opposed to like being a nutritionist, and how you might meet with people there?
Yeah, I would say most nutritionists would likely set up a meal plan for somebody, but a health coach is more likely to help you zero in on what is going on in your life and what we could do to start making shifts.
And there's definite layover there. It's not like nutritionists are like, nope, I won't talk about habits. And,
That's right. No, of course.
I mean, there are great nutritionists out there that are fully aware of the power of small habits. But what we enjoy about how life coaching goes is there's a lot of talk with this, and then we move into the specifics of the habits with people. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So generalization into personalization.
Oh, I like that.
Whoa.
Coin that one. Coin that one.
That's right.
All right. Well, let's head into some specifics in Chapter 3. We're going to go through the chapter summary. There's 4 points in this chapter summary, and we felt like the last one is where we're really going to spend some time in. But let's begin with this little softball right here. It starts off with, a habit is a behavior that has been repeated enough times to become automatic. Thoughts?
Repetition, repetition, repetition.
Yeah. Why is that? Why is it important? Because when you read it, you're like, yeah. It seems obvious, but why is it important to talk about in our realms?
I think because you can use it to your advantage, right? You can decide, hey, I'm going to do this enough times where I'm going to be good at it, or it'll be automatic in your life.
Yeah, to follow up the whole automatic portion of it, just had a thought, like when you get into the car, you know how to start your car, right? And it just becomes so easy, so second nature, you don't even think about it anymore. So with this, it's just breaking down the things that we haven't even talked about or even thought about, and it's putting it in that perspective. So it's like, whoa, we have the power to affect this change.
I just had the most unfortunate remembrance of that exact example, and I'm learning it now. Like, but when I first started, in the first few years of me driving, I was so in the habit of, I know I'm not the only person, so if you've done this or heard of somebody doing this, well, take it, share with us. I know. So you go to your car that's in the garage in Colorado Springs, and you open it up, and you do the thing. You just go through the habit of opening, starting the car, put it in reverse, and go. But sometimes you forget the habit of opening the garage door. And so the unconscious, like unconsciously, I mean, I just did. It was awful. I was 16, and God bless my parents for being like, I don't remember them coming down too hard on me, and I need to keep that in my head as my kids become teenagers, because I don't know, I was probably mortified, but yeah, we had to get in the garage door. I didn't go all the way through. It wasn't like an 80s movie of me like going like 60 behind there, but it was pretty but it was automatic. Like I just did that, but I left one thing out.
Garage door, the most important.
Oh, sorry. That's why I was laughing right when you said that. I was like, but those are habits. Yeah, he did talk about in the chapter of habits being so ingrained in you that every day you're doing something and you don't even know all the habits that you have. Like, it's likely that you put on the same shoe, your left shoe, every single time. Or when you walk into a room, you do this, this, and this every time you go into this room. Yeah, anything else?
Have you ever noticed when you brush your teeth, you have like a pattern?
Yes.
You like do the same thing pretty much every time unless you're thinking it through.
So I'm in the process of breaking that habit right now.
Me too.
Yeah?
Yes.
Me too.
Look what we're doing. That's so funny.
Changing the world.
Changing the world.
Why are you breaking it? Why are you breaking it?
So it's Bruce Lee, right?
Oh.
Bruce Lee.
Yours is deeper than mine.
Already. The Dalai Lama.
The Dalai Lama. Yes. No. So I can't pinpoint it exactly. I want to say it's in one of his books or TV show or like one of his documentary type things. But he talks about training your mind and your body to do opposite. So I grew up brushing my right hand, right? But then the challenge was now, boom, I have to brush with my left hand. So, it just clicked, not, maybe the last 6 months. I've been brushing with my left hand.
Please tell me you have early video of...
I have none.
No, that would be
video.
the only thing.
No. But it's still very stiff.
Like 2 moves into the upper quadrant, and all of a sudden it's in your nostril. You're like, damn.
This is going to be maybe the longest quick pod ever.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
All right, yeah. But there's times where I want to go back to the right hand.
And you won't let yourself?
No. Like, I'll start, I'm like, whoa! Switch hands.
Oh, my gosh. That's
Bruce
funny.
Lee.
Bruce Lee. Jesus once said that... Mine's as simple as I'm teaching my kids to brush their teeth, and I notice I'm like, oh, geez, I do the exact same thing every time. All right, let's move. We better move to the second point, which will open this up further. The ultimate purpose of habits is to solve the problems of life with as little energy and effort as possible.
You look like you have something to say, Coach Jen. Go for it.
Yeah.
Let's
I was
go.
thinking like brushing your teeth with your left hand.
That's like, it'll soon become easier, second nature.
It will. It will. It will.
With enough repetition.
6 more months.
I actually do admire the ambidextrousness. Anyway, cognitive load is like the more scientific term.
Yeah, they call it like decision fatigue, right?
That's
if you
that's exactly
have
right.
to make too many decisions.
Ooh, yeah.
Man, that one makes so much sense to me. Like I understand that. Like I'm one of the people that if I have too much in front of me, I'll just like wait.
Yes.
Freeze. Take too long. Like
Absolutely.
so
Analysis paralysis.
Yep, that's exactly right. I wish that in my like moving forward as a leader, as a somebody who's either a dad or owns a business, whatever, like I'm trying to be more decisive, quicker. So that one makes a lot of sense to me. Cognitive load, I can feel in life. And so when he's saying that your mind and your body just they want to take things off the plate so you don't have cognitive, decision fatigue. And things like what? Like just anything in life. He's saying even as far down as putting your shoes on the exact same way. It's just like, you're not going to think about that. Don't even worry about that. You just do that the same way every single time, and we're not aware of it. The mind has a craving for this. So what we are trying to get to all the time inside of the gym, we are trying to get inside of this. We train high-level movements in the gym, things like the snatch, things like muscle ups, things like pull-ups, things like kipping pull-ups, things like double unders, right? Those are things that a lot of people can't walk off the street and just have. And we train them with repetition and progression so that at some point they're so automatic that the person feels like they can play inside of those movements. And that's what we do with sport.
Yeah.
Like so your daughter is learning dance moves right now so that she can look free while she is moving, even though they're incredibly complicated moves that take repetition after repetition, right?
It's true.
I laugh because my dance moves are just so stiff. I don't have the
come on.
The habits.
Zumba 310.
It's the same move, Coach Jen.
Same move. You got anything else on that? You want to move on?
Yeah, because I'm excited about number 4.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Number 3 is kind of the structure that number 4 is built on. So any habit can be broken down into a feedback loop that involves 4 steps: cue, craving, response, and reward. Okay, I'm going to say those again: cue, craving, response, and reward. Let's see. I'm going to give an example that he uses inside of here. I think it's a good one. The very first one that he has is pretty good. Your phone buzzes with a new text message. That is a cue. You want to learn the contents of that message, right? That's the craving inside of it. He calls this the problem phase. The next 2 things are the solutions phase. How will you deal with the awareness and then the craving of something? You grab your phone and you read the text. That's your response to it. And the reward in the solution phase is you satisfy the craving to read the message. Grabbing your phone then becomes associated with your phone buzzing. So we have heard a lot about this recently, and even iPhone is setting things up so that you have choices on whether or not you hear those all the time, how much notifications. It's got to ask you, if you're going to push notifications for you, because we've all felt it, You hear it and you're like, who is that? and it interrupts everything, right?
Absolutely.
We're supposed to. I had to like try to figure out 5 different ways to put this thing on airplane mode, so I wouldn't get some response or some cue while we're doing this. So that one makes sense to us.
It's also helpful though in like changing a habit, right? Because
Yes.
if you know what's triggering you, it's easier to help like fix it or figure it out from there if you know the trigger.
Yeah. You had an example that you were going to use inside of it. Let's I don't know if we want to, like, we were each going to give one from ourselves, but if you want to start off with, like, you had an ice cream example. You want to start off with that and see if we can kind of set up the cue, craving, response, and reward, just so to get people going with this. Like, what do you see? Like, what's a cue? Like, people will become aware of something in this ice cream example. What's that cue look like?
Well, the cue might be like you finished dinner and you want something sweet. Like that might be it might be just as simple as that. Or you've mentioned in the past, movie night is associated with popcorn, right? There's a cue that's like this thing we do with popcorn or we do with ice cream or whatever. So the cue could be as simple as like dinner's over and now it's dessert time.
Yeah.
And then this one client of mine always wanted ice cream. It was like her favorite. It was something she craved all the time. And so then she would go get it because it was in the freezer. And so she always had a couple of her favorite ice cream flavors. And then that reward is that you got the thing. It was sweet. It kind of, it hit the spot, right? It was what you wanted and
or
you got
satiated a moment
it.
for you.
But then the problem ended up being that like she didn't want to be in that same feedback loop all the time of always wanting ice cream and getting ice cream. So, well, that kind of leads into the next category or the next section, which is like how to make it harder to do that thing.
Yeah. Well, and something that can be troublesome. So even if somebody routinely has a habit of eating ice cream after dinner, another cue that people would run into is just having it in the freezer, seeing it. So maybe you're done with your workout and you're going to get a glass of ice water or something like that, but seeing it at an off time becomes a cue.
Now and it's like you can only think about it.
Yeah, now you're cued at a time when you aren't, it's not part of your habit. It's just, now it's there. Now you're in the problem phase of craving. And then how do you respond to that? Oh, it's just one spoonful or whatever, So that is also, you could distill it down even further to the cue is just seeing that thing. And in the problem phase, that can be a problem depending on if you have a decision of how you're going to handle that thing. Well, great. I think what we wanted to do was understand those things. We got a couple good examples, but we can spend a little more time on is this next thing. And the next point is the 4 laws of behavior change. And the reason why we want to spend time in them is it is good to understand cue, craving, response, and reward. And it's very likely, even as we talked about it beforehand, that you might think And you're just like, oh, yeah, I understand that. But then as you start breaking your habits and patterns down, you may be like, wait, what is that? And Jen, to throw it back to you and stuff that we do all the time inside of the gym, it is so helpful to have another person to speak these things to another person, because you may think you understand cue, craving, response, reward towards a specific habit. But I'm sure all of the time in the work that you do, you ask a question and they say it. And then even as people say it, they're like, oh, nope.
Yes.
That's not right.
I mean, that's half the thing. Is asking the right question. It's amazing.
Jen is the master of the Socratic method. She's used it on me numerous times. So I think it's such a good idea, and I want to tell people who are listening out there that it's one thing to understand or think that you understand this, but if you have a habit that you are trying to get rid of, or if you have a habit that you want, I just can't underscore it enough that it's so important to bring it to another human and see if you're seeing that right and see if you're processing that right. Well, let's transition into these 4 laws, because the 4 laws are things that will really help in kind of codifying the other things that we were just talking about. The 4 laws of behavior change, which is really what we want. We don't just want to understand it. We want to change behaviors. The first law is make it obvious. The second law is make it attractive. The third law is make it easy. And the fourth law is make it satisfying. And I think this is genius. This is absolutely genius. That is for developing a habit.
Or breaking a bad habit.
I was just going to throw that your way. Go ahead, Will.
Well, yeah, I mean, so with the make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, make it satisfying for the good habit, the same could be said about how to break the bad habit. You make it invisible, you make it unattractive, you make it very difficult, and you just make it unsatisfying.
It is. Those are so good. They're really powerful. They're simple and powerful, but I still need help breaking it down because I'm like, I think I'm understanding, but will you guys help me understand both directions? Which one do you want to tackle first? You want to tackle let's tackle the 4 laws first. One of you have an example of something that maybe you're doing to go towards a good habit in the way that you don't even have to have all 4 if you haven't dialed all 4 of them in, but help me understand how to apply these 4 laws to a habit.
Go ahead.
Oh,
She said, "Go ahead."
all right. So to piggyback off the ice cream, right, and the movie night popcorn, right. So with the ice cream, you say you open the refrigerator, it's there, it's visible, right. So boom, you've got the cue, it's visible. Now, if you look at it as a good habit or a bad habit, if it's a good habit, boom, it's attractive, right, and everything that comes along with it. Easy access, and boom, I'm eating ice cream, I feel satisfied. Now, the same can be said if eating the ice cream is unsatisfying, you just get rid of it altogether. You make it unattractive, you make it invisible to where you're not thinking about it anymore. So then it just becomes difficult to get it. I know I'm lazy. So if there's no ice cream in the refrigerator, I'm not going to go out of my way, leave the comforts of my own area, and get ice cream. So, I mean, that's how you break the bad habit. Like if you just...
Yeah, you make it harder to get there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sure.
What is, how about, and we're kind of like going back and forth inside of this kind of simultaneously, and that's okay, I think. So we're in make it obvious right now, and that's good. So with ice cream, we're like, let's take it out of there. Let's make it harder. You don't see it for one, so you're not going to have that moment that's outside of your normal habit. So it's not going to pile on inside of there. To make it obvious in a good way, Jen, you like, I sense other humans inside of that room. Unbelievable. Is that Mark? Are we going to have to bust
It
Mark?
was. He's gone now. Thank God.
Goodness. I can only imagine what Jim Carrey move he was pulling just now to try to make you laugh.
That'd been great.
So, Jen, when we're trying to have people eat better, this is the same thing. We say, go shop, and
the best is like the example I've given a lot of people is if you go to supermarket and you get fruits and vegetables, and then you put them in your like fruits and veggie drawer, and then you open up your fridge like a week and a half later, and they all have gone bad, then it isn't obvious enough. So what I have people do is maybe get like a fruit bowl. If it's something that can be out in your kitchen, like on the counter, put your fruits that can be out there into a fruit bowl. I tell people when they get their veggies home from the store, cut them up so that when you open up the fridge, they're
Easy
obvious,
access.
they're available, they're easy to get. This is all exactly what he's talking about in the book, is making it obvious and making it easy.
And the attractive portion of it is the healthy, the reward, right? The response and the reward. Satisfied by,
Well, I think the satisfaction in it can come in many ways. Like, you will often feel better when you've eaten that instead of something else.
Right.
You've also done the thing you set out to do. You wanted to eat healthier, and now you're eating this thing. So I think that can come in many ways. And I do think the more that you eat fruits and vegetables, the more you end up liking them.
Yep. And how I begin with people, like my kids at home right now, we are in search for every kid. Doesn't matter to me if it's a different one or what, but we're like, what vegetable do you like? Like, they literally we have them say it out loud. We know what vegetables they like, what vegetables they don't like right now. And that can change, which is incredible. But right now, we're going to make it easy for them because they do like this one or they do like that one. And so it can be satisfying to have one that does taste good for you. Like that's a fruit that tastes good for you if you don't eat any fruit at all. Now, as we refine that, we go to like less starchier thing, less sugar things inside of there. But you want to make the practice or habit of fruits and vegetables satisfying enough to begin.
Totally.
Well, I like that one, so I'm going to do what Jen says. I'm going to try to get 2 vegetables inside a day. So you start with the one that you like. If you start with the one that you don't like, we're already off with
you're
it.
not going to get very far.
Yeah.
No.
So these are very intuitive when you start talking through them.
These are great questions to ask yourself. Right?
Yeah, they are so worthy of doing with people. The most I am getting out of this book is when I'm trading conversations with Tani, or like as we're going through this, I have clients that I'm calling once a week right now, and we're talking through the portal of these ideas, and it's really fun because we're doing things. There's action towards things. And these are like 15, 20-minute conversations, but they're really full of action right now. Tani has a really great one. She wants to be moving more, during COVID, she took the hit more than most everyone because she was so active. She was always out and about with the kids, but we couldn't go anywhere. So she found herself sitting around more. We live in this great, beautiful place. So she wants to get outside more. To do that, she puts her shoes out so that it's easy for her. She's just got an she's got this easy trick. She just needs to get her shoes on. If she gets her shoes on, she's going to go. And so that's the easiest entry point for her. And then she told me about it, and I'm all, let's get those shoes on, or you have your shoes on, great job, or like there's some affirmation inside of it, which is probably like, shut up. But anyway, it's great. Like, I want to be a cheerleader for her because I love knowing that about her. So that, as we were talking through this, that is an easy thing for her, and it's a cue. Really is a cue for her now, and she also knows exactly what she's going to do. She walks out and she knows right now what she's going to do. So it's easy. There's no cognitive load. We sell that in the gym all the time. We're like, get here. We've got programming for you, or we've got a personal trainer who will take care of this. And we teach all of the time. Like, we don't just do everything for them. But if they get here, we're going to handle so much stuff. They will not have to do their own research for how much pulling, how much pushing, how much cardiovascular, what ranges of motion have you gone through in the last, 3 months or whatever it is. So, like, we really sell that in the things that we do here.
And if fun is attractive, you're going to have a lot of that. So.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that goes back to,
Reward.
we said we discipline, we teach things, and we teach hard things. We teach people things that they would not want to do because they're so frustrating sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Sometimes they're so frustrating. But we know that once they are learned, there's this dopamine hit, right? It's so satisfying to learn something and to be able to do something that not everybody can do. I'm actually convinced that one of the reasons why CrossFit is so pervasive, it has gone so global, is not because it's hard, like it's a workout that breaks you down. You can find those everywhere. I think it is because we teach constantly and people are learning new things constantly. There's this big, long list of things to learn. Mm-hmm. And I think it is so attractive that learning process and becoming something else, I actually think that is the major push behind this thing. It's not intensity. It's not that we're just doing long, hard things inside of there. So, but play,
Absolutely.
It's satisfying to be able to play instead of just doing a set, going to the next thing, doing a set. So
yeah, for sure.
Cool. What else, people? I want to dare you guys, and you guys know I have a couple of examples. I would love to finish off with a habit in one direction. Like, give me an example of a habit that you have. It could be positive or negative or both, that you're like, this is in my life, and you can see how the cue, craving, response, reward exists, or how it overlays with, it's obvious or attractive, easy, and satisfying to you.
I've got one.
Okay.
So one habit I'm trying to switch for another, right? So in the mornings, I wake up pretty early, and one of the first things I've noticed that I do in the mornings is I reach for my phone. And I'm like, immediately I'm on Twitter or Facebook or something, and I'm just scrolling through stuff, and I start to realize over several months that it just feels like a waste of time. Like I'm not doing anything important. I'm just kind of waking up. I'm just trying to get myself awake. But instead of spending 10, 15 minutes doing that in the mornings, I want to take that same time and do like a meditation or a yoga or something. It doesn't have to be long or anything. It just taking that same amount of time and making it positive, something that's going to help move me forward. And a meditation, I think, is good just because I am getting up so early and I want to like just be a little bit more present and mindful in the mornings, or a yoga, which can also do the same thing, but also help me move and stretch out and kind of just feel better before I go run. So I'm trying to switch those things. So it's a little bit of it's a challenge because you want to make the phone like less obvious, less easy, that kind of thing. But also that's like where the meditation app is. So like, and again, I'm working through that one right now, but it's a good one. That's dangerous for me. I am right there with you. Will?
Mine? Okay, look, I'm gonna bring it back to the left-handed teeth brushing thing, right? Because like you said, I mean, it's a switch. Now, for me, what makes it obvious and attractive to me is I'm learning a new skill, right? So for me, it's forcing me, start in the morning, boom, do something that's, I guess, difficult, or do something that I'm learning. So that way it can set the tone for the rest of the day to, learn other things or to start habits to learn to do other things. And it kind of like I want it to be a snowball effect.
Yeah,
Right.
that
So-
makes sense. I like how you said that. I understand that right now.
Yeah, and I mean, it's easy. I mean, you brush your teeth. I mean,
You're doing it anyway.
Yeah, it's like, what's his name? What is the general that gave that big speech? And he's like, make your bed every day,
Oh,
right?
I know the speech. I don't know the general, but yeah.
Yep. We'll call him Mr. Norwal. Okay. Anyway, I think what I'm hearing you say is it's so simple. It's almost like making your bed, right?
Yeah.
But in your head, it's so valuable to learn new things, even as simple as hand dexterity in a very simple thing in life, and the snowball effect. I'm always learning. I'm always practicing. I'm always doing something. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, absolutely.
good.
And
Oh, I
it
like
can
it.
fall back to what happens in the gym here.
Right.
Because we're always learning new things, new movements, and like I said, I believe that this sets that tone for me each day.
I love it. And the satisfaction that you get, it's easy because you do it every single day. It can't go too wrong.
Right.
Don't give yourself a COVID check. But it's satisfying because it I don't know, is it cast a vote towards the kind of guy you want to be? The kind
Absolutely.
Of,
Absolutely cast the vote. Cast the vote of constant learning.
That's awesome.
That's good.
That actually, man, you just pulled me over. That was great. At first I was like, well, you're so crazy, buddy.
I am
But
very
I
crazy,
like-
but there's a
yeah.
method to the madness.
But I loved it. That's really good. That's really good.
Thank you.
Great.
Try to be like you guys.
All right. I'll say I'm going to do a quick nod to Jen's because I do have an early morning habit. I journal constantly. I get up and I read, pray, and journal. Even when I coach a 6 a.m. class, I wake up at 4:20 so that I can do that a little bit before, and then I come home, and in between two classes, I've got like an hour to do it. And some people who know me or meeting me, they're like, wow, that's so much discipline. And this book actually tells the reason why. I am not that disciplined to do it. The satisfaction that I get from doing it is huge. Like, I do not feel, I don't know, I struggle with some anxiousness as I go into my days, and that helps me process so much that I'm willing to sacrifice more sleep or go to bed earlier to get up and just have my mind already pumping, or else I just feel anxious and behind the 8 ball already if I haven't been doing that. So that's huge for me, as I understand that in a big way. And then my opposite direction that I have, I've got this habit that I've talked about before. You guys both know about it and
Let's hear
tease
it.
me. But when my family goes out of town, Tani's so adventurous, so she takes this family camping or on vacation all the time, and I'm here alone. And when they leave, I don't like it, so I medicate. And I get carne asada and chips and salsa, and for sure I'll be watching Netflix.
Sounds so good right
I'll be
now.
watching. It's
I'm
delicious.
super hungry.
It is it is it. And I'll say this, it only happens 4 to 6 times in a year, so it's okay. I told Jen, I was like, if it happened every week, she would have had to have an intercession. She would have been
Yep.
like, you can't do that. That is not healthy for you. So, but it is something I've noticed. I mean, I know what I'm going to do when they leave. I'm going to get something that tastes good, and I'm going to distract myself with Netflix. And I'm usually too busy, and there's too much family around to do. I can't do that all the time. But that is one that kind of goes down, I would say, a negative route because, medicating with junk food isn't the thing that we're teaching all the time.
See, I don't know if it'd be a bad habit in the sense that it's not like you're saying every week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
There's an argument for that. I'm probably going to do it tonight, no matter what.
I might do it too.
The queue. Oh my gosh, I'm in the queue right now. I'm in the queue. I started talking about it.
I know. the craving.
That'd be
now.
Yeah.
hysterical.
Yeah.
Everybody listening to this, you got to figure out what you're going to do with the cue that I just gave you. I'm like the worst coach ever.
Go eat.
No.
Well, no, we need to eat to survive, but eat something good. I mean, carne asada is
That's
very
right.
tasty.
Eat something healthy.
All right.
But add some vegetables with it.
That's right.
Okay, this has been chapter 3. I think that we did a good job of going through this and giving examples. I'm hoping that as we did this, people were identifying with some of it. People were making some connections. My encouragement is to talk to other people. It is so beneficial to have these discussions. If we can be a help to you, we'd love to be a help. Jen McMahon is available. Me and Jen and Will coach at CrossFit 310, and we would love to meet you and be a help. We will be getting deeper into these things. This is an idea that we will start fleshing out, and in the next chapter, we are going to be fleshing out the first law, make it obvious. So we're going to go through examples and examples and examples. So this is supposed to be something that is an introduction, and then we chew on this, we meditate on this, and we really are going to be able to hopefully understand it in a way where, man, I'm hoping that by the end of this book, you've got 1 or 2 habits that are there for life, and you're happy about it. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. You want to sign off and say anything to the people?
That was it. That was fun. More habit talk.
Yeah.
I want to hear people's habits. I do want to say that.
Yeah, so please, write down in the comment section. Let's keep the conversation going. I'm bringing high energy right now because it's part of my habit. But
That's right. Woo!
Good.
But yes, let's have this 2, 3, 4, 5-way conversation. Let's get everybody involved.
Yep.
This is fun. Let's keep it going.
Yes.
I love it. Okay. Thank you, Will Jones. Thank you,
guys.
Jen McMahon. Thank you, guys. If you're still watching, gosh, we love you.
Yeah. And we out. Peace.
Fight.
Shoots, bruh.